Hey guys, it's back with Johnny Tech Review and I hope you guys are all doing well. So I have been using this device that was sent to me by a company called DigiNow for the past month or so. This is called the DigiNow Digital Recorder. What this is a 1080p digital recorder. It has its own battery and then it can take in signal from HDMI and it can also do that from a AV port. I'll show you that in a second, but effectively what it is, it allows you to connect something like an old camcorder, a VCR. So in my use case, I have two use cases for it that I tested with. Number one, I have an old VCR which is actually in the closet right now. I'll show some sample shot of that. But I have some old VHS file that I have from back in the day. I think it was high school. We have some recording and I want to preserve those. Honestly, previously I already done that with a different recorder, but I wanted to try with this one to see what that looked like. And then the other use case I have, of course, is actually connecting to this camera here that I'm filming right now. And the camera that I'm using is the Canon RP. It does not allow you to do both recording and output. But with a little trick, I could actually do recording on here and also the output from the RP, which is not a completely clean signal, but just for the test, it will be good to see. All right, let's talk about the device a little bit. This is what it looked like. Really small. Come with an HDMI cable if you want to use that. However, I do need an adapter for mine, so I didn't use it. Up front, you have a few buttons. You have the menu button, switching between the playback and recording button. You can also switch between the different input, and then there's a recording button right there, and then the previous button. And also these are navigation button that you can go back and forth. On top, you have the input for USB-C if you want to do that. You can charge via that way. You also have a USB-A input, and then you have here the volume control and also a left and right on the menu, and then the power button which you can hold to turn on. On the right side there is the SD card. This device does come with, it did come with a 32 gig, which is really nice that it's included. And then on the left side you have all your port. This is the HDMI in, HDMI out. You also have AV out and AV in, and this is where I use that VCR cable to do that. So here is what that RCA adapter look like. You have the input here, and then you have the RCA outputs. So this is what you can connect to your VCR or any device that's old, and then you can use this for the input. Another feature that's really nice when you use this device is that the screen is actually an OLED screen. So when you first turn it on, it just a blue screen, so you couldn't really tell, but then the moment that I have some device input into it, it looks super nice, and I realized, wow, the color saturation on this is really amazing. One last thing to note, the device does have a battery pack that's built in, and also you have a little small speaker in the back. The speaker is really small, but it does the job. You can actually hear the output of the video, such as the one I'm recording right now, and it's pretty clean. So to power on the unit, all you gotta do is hold down this button. Take about a second to come on, as you can see here, and you get to this blue screen, and then you can press this button here to switch between the different playback and recording. So right now I have my video that I recorded previously. This is from the VCR. You can kind of see there, pretty old video there, and then you can go back and forth between the different video. And here, for example, is recording of a video from my Canon RP. So you can see I was playing with the camera. I have it mounted. Works pretty well, looks really good. Yeah, so I was using this kind of like a monitor for my camera. The only concern here is that if you want to do that, you don't actually have any mount. So you do have to get some adapter, like one of these that you can mount to. It does not have any tripod thread for you to mount or anything like that. But again, that's not its use case. I just happen to use it that way. Now, battery life. Let's talk about that a little bit because this was unique to me. So for me, take roughly about 2.5 hours to charge the device fully. I was using the regular plug-in charge, the USB-C charge. So for me, using it, using the recorder and also just using it as a monitor, playing around with it, it lasts roughly about 2 hours. So when I was leaving it here to record about a 15-minute video from my VCR, the device does not get really that hot, so the internal encoder works pretty well and it's pretty smooth. All my footage came out really nice, and I didn't have any issues with the sound quality or anything like that. So yeah, so far the device worked very well for my purpose. I like the fact that I can use this to archive my old videos, and I can also use it as a monitor if I need it for just a brief moment. Of course, a better dedicated field monitor is better for that, but for my purpose, this is nice in a pinch. Now, there are two small things that I do want to point out on this device. Number one is that when you are using HDMI out, if you're doing a pass-through, the screen actually go up on the device, so you don't get access to the screen while if you output to another monitor. Now, another thing that I want to demonstrate is this. As you can see, this is my simple setup I have right now, and I'm outputting to the screen. However, you notice there is a small delay. That is something to keep in mind. This is outputting directly out to the screen. Now, I didn't notice that when I was not using the pass-through, but when I was using the pass-through, that delay exists. So 1, 2, 3, as you can see. Now let me take that pass-through out, and you can see that. Now that I put it on here, you can see there is no delay. It's very instantaneously. So to keep that in mind, if you are using this as a pass-through, there is a small delay. I would say about half a second delay, which could be a deal breaker for some people. It's really hard to do this screen justice. It looked really nice on the screen. My iPhone seemed to have a hard time catching this. So here you can see some of the information. This is actually coming from my camera. Up top there you have a row of information. It's hard to see, but that's the little camcorder. There's a HDMI, and then here is the SD card. It's a 1080p full right now, and over there there's a timer, and that's the timer that how long you can record left with the current memory card capacity. I want to quickly show you guys the menu. You can press it by pressing this button here, and you can go up and down here, and you can of course pick the item that you want, just like this. So yeah, have a few different languages, like 7 or 8 different language. There you can do daytime stamp if you want that. Movie quality, let me click on there real quick for you to see. You have 3 options, 1080p 60, high, low, and then 720p. So I'm gonna go back. And then we go down here, we have 2 different sources. We can have HDMI and AV, that's the option. Keep going down a little bit more, you have auto recording, automatically stop if you want to record for like an hour or something like that. There's a few different options here, you can see from 60 minutes all the way to look like an hour and a half. Right now a little bit more than 150 minutes. You have USB mode, you can change it from charging or input that into like a media mass storage, so they can plug it in the computer. Then here you have the SD card as is the default storage. You can also, I guess, use USB, but I didn't use that. I only used the SD card. And then the scale recording here, you can look at that and see. You can have a setup here daily once. Again, I did not use these features, but interesting to have. And then down here you have the format option, factory reset, and the firmware number. So up top, of course, you go back out here, get back to here. Let me turn this on, and then you can click on this icon here to record. If you want to do built-in recorder, and when you start recording, it will show right now. So now I'm using the recorder inside here. I want to see what this looks like. I'll show you guys a footage of that. So to me, this is a pretty nice device if you're looking to use it as a digital recorder, and that is not a very expensive one. Of course, with the resolution limiting at 1080p, that is going to be a limiting factor for some people. But for most people who's looking to do archive of video, like old footage and stuff like that, this is gonna work well. And even for recording on YouTube, you're using 1080p, this is gonna work fine. I like the fact that the screen is OLED and it looks really nice, and the built-in battery life is good enough for your typical usage. For my purpose, because of the length that time I'm using this device for recording, I didn't have any issues with the internal battery pack. Guys, that is my quick review of this DigiNow digital recorder. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment box down below. If you found this video useful, go ahead and give that a like and subscribe for more future content. Thank you.